Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the One True Divine Feminine and Psychic Investigations Tarot. I just want to send light and love and angelic vibes across the universe. Thank you for joining me. I don't even know if I have a like or subscribe button. If I do, please hit it. Also, please be very careful not to donate to other websites that are showing my picture, right? Because those are copycats. I have not even monetized this. It's mostly just for getting information out that I feel is very pertinent to where we are. But my gratitude and love for all the help I've received is huge. And just know that anything I say is meant to help guide us into a better direction in our country, even if it's painful. So I do have some handmade messages, and some of these are going to be difficult for people, and yet some of this needs to occur. So we're going to jump right into it. So there's a message that needs to get to delirium tremens, and that person knows who they are. But the track record that you have with women is really awful, right? Really awful. And a lot of women were really harmed in this case, right? So for all of the women that were egregiously harmed because of this, I suggest that you call Mark Crozet at 480-340-8691, because I think jointly, all of us that were severely harmed will be far more powerful together, right? And we need to create change so that the soul of our country is not doing this kind of thing to women. So call Mark Crozet. He works for a national sex exploitation hotline. And the cases are done pro bono. But of course, if you get a settlement, you can make a donation, which would be great to help other people who experience sex trafficking. Okay. So make sure you write the number 480-340-8691. Okay. I'm getting an intuitive message from other tarot card readers that there was a corrupt official in a room. And it sounds like, from what I gather, that they paid for the things that happened. Okay, that's the information I'm getting. Now, we don't know what room, right? There's a lot of rooms in America, so it's pretty hard to determine what room this is all happening in. But there were other lying, conniving people present. And, money was a huge motivating factor in this. And of course, I don't know what went down, but everything feels extremely shifty and corrupt. I'll just say that. So after going through Betrayal 1, that's when Betrayal 2 began. And there was more than one betrayal. There's more than one room where dirty stuff went down. So the other message is return the money from the farm. Okay? That's to help you clean up your stuff and your conscience, and to try to start to do right by women in the country. There were a number of women victims who were really harmed by this, and we need to band together, right? Because we will be far more powerful together. This smacks of class action lawsuit. Now, federal prosecutors, I know you don't want to have to deal with this, right? And yet this problem has been going on for a very, very, very long time. So you need to nut up, and you need to criminally charge for the things that happened. And this is actually going to create a lot of good things in the universe, because once that person gets charged, they're going to start ratting out all of the other officials that they paid off to completely subvert the justice system, to the point that in my state, the entire state failed me, the entire state, because of buckets of money. So this is going to create positive events in terms of justice. So you're going to charge the person that paid, and then he's going to rat out all of the locals in the various states that assisted in this effort. Now, I'm in a fairly dangerous spot because the locals were responsible for helping with this, and they are trying to block communications all the way down to trying to block certain messages that go out on my cell phone. I have caught them blocking messages leaving the library. I have to wonder if IC3 forms that I send get anywhere. I've even had to drive long distances to drop mail to have the hope that important information is going out. This has been happening with trouble getting IC3 forms in for years. So I have to wonder how much of what I've reported actually got through and how much of it just got swallowed by a corrupt system. I don't know. But because of actions that went down, including, wiring my shower and all of that stuff, people helped to traffic me, right? Okay. And that created a whole series of events that created statewide corruption wherein they profited off of my family's crotch. You don't want to face this, but you're going to, right? Because you thought it was going to be really funny to humiliate me. But guess what? This energy's all coming back to you. And I live in a law and order state. Swallow that one, ponder that, and take a look, right? Law enforcement helping to traffic a woman. Okay, here's the message for my country. Fire your filthy perverts. Exactly. How funny is it now? Okay, we're going to switch gears a little. And I keep hearing people want to support me. I haven't monetized this yet. So beware of, people using my image and saying they're me and pretending they're me. They're not. This is my only channel right here. Okay, so be careful of that. And then also, and I don't know if this is me or not, but if it is, I'm shocked. But I keep hearing that I may be adopted. And if I am, that's complete news to me. If that's my story, I didn't know. So I'm finding that out on YouTube. I've always been told that I was Irish American. I know nothing else other than that. I even queried my sister. She either didn't want to tell me or didn't know. So if I'm the one that's adopted, I would like my real dad to stand up, right? I would like to meet you. But you have to give me information and let me check you out because I have a lot of people trying to kill me right now. So anyhow, what a bunch of shocking things to come out. And again, that might not be my story, but I keep hearing it. So I have to wonder if it is. And if so, I'd love to hear the story. No harmful feelings or anything. I would just love to meet you. I never felt like I belonged where I was. And it's all good. It all turned out okay. So anyhow, that's the message. And I am going to just put this out there, not to, just to help change where we are in our country, right? So that we aren't having these horrific things happen. Okay. And we're going to get into that more when I eventually do the second reading on more energy of the lunar eclipse coming, because truly we're in a battle for the soul of our nation. So but that's the next one. Right now, we're going to focus on that Neptunian energy that we've been working on. So we're going to shift to astrology, and we haven't covered the second or first house and what it means when you have the planet of Neptune, which is on a high vibe, our means of connecting to the divine, right? When it's operating well. And so what does it mean when it hits the second house? Now, so many people think the second house is earned income or what we own, but truly it's about everything that we value, including our inner resources, right? It's what exactly is it that we love. And for each and every one of us, that's different, right? We all have a different value system. Now, when this is operating really well in that second house, we will likely truly lean on our inner values and resources to connect to the divine, because that is what's going to give us the strength and power. You may actually not appreciate the same things as others, because you're going to put less emphasis on the material things, especially at work. Instead, you're going to focus on developing soul-filled connections with those that share your workspace. Connecting with your soul tribe in this manner will help you to feel really successful at your job. Okay, and this is the high vibe energy. Now, Neptune in the second will also cause you to want to find a way to be of service to humanity. This is my helping hands card. And that's going to be part of your mission, to find a way to serve. Worldly goods may even be abandoned at certain times in your life so that you can gain more inner wisdom. Examples could include leaving work so you can go on a mission, or possibly leaving your job to spend time in an ashram, or using your connection to the divine to be of service in your profession, such as like a hospice nurse, for example, or a chaplain, or maybe a meditation teacher. So that you can just bring in more light and love and angelic vibes in the universe, right? Certainly, your value system is going to undergo a sea change with Neptune floating through this house of the things you love: earned income, material goods, and inner resources. Developing spiritual health as well as your immune system are called for at this time. Daydreaming and being creative will also help you to conjure up business adventures that can help you to prosper. So the time spent reflecting over what you need to manifest. So here's the, daydreaming and reflecting. That can help you to ground things down into reality so that you can attain your goals. But you will have to work and make effort at taking actionable steps. Okay? All right. Now, we're going to go right into Neptune in the first on the high vibe. And this is a quick one, but Neptune in the first house will place an emphasis on how we present ourselves to the outside world. It has a lot to do with our bodies. And since on a high vibe, this planet is how we connect to the divine, it can also incline a person to be very giving to the world, for there will be a real desire also to be of service, especially to the downtrodden. Soup kitchen helpers, those who work for a Red Cross or various shelters, are indicated. Likewise, so long as other planets are aligned well, you might even desire to be a drug rehab counselor, for example. Now, Neptune is kind of a diffuse energy, sort of like water, there's no boundaries. The energy just kind of flows. So you may have a hard time setting boundaries with the outside world. And you may also find a need to give and give and give. And that can be depleting if you are not careful. People with this energy remind me a lot of Mother Teresa. I could expect that she could have had this configuration. Now, Neptune in the first could also assist you in alchemizing situations that are thrown at you due to the wisdom that you hold inside of your soul. All right. So that's when we connect in a positive way, right? So we'll talk later about what happens when we're out of whack with Neptune, and that brings in a whole different set of energies. Now, the next little bit I'm going to do, I'm again just going to read, and I'm doing this because, again, I see so many things that are playing out in the stars that are affecting our nation, whether we realize it or not. And again, though this is an entertainment-only website, I have over the years developed, some insight into what's going on. And I think the messages are very pertinent because we've been going through this Pluto return cycle, and it's bringing in a lot of big energies and actions that we're seeing playing out in the real world, right? So this particular pickup is from what I started the other day on the lunar eclipse that's going to happen on May 5th of 2023. This is the partner eclipse to the solar thing that's happening on April 20th. They always come in pairs. And so with the lunar eclipses, remember, it's all about the big full moon revealing things. Okay. So we're going to continue with this in bits and pieces because, again, it can be a little overwhelming because there's a lot of information. So we started the other day talking about this, and we mentioned how many secrets would be revealed coming up regarding secret societies, Congress, and clandestine affairs. We also mentioned the need for our country to reevaluate our value system. And yet, that moon at 5 degrees of Scorpio is going to resist that much needed change. The website Mindfire states that this Sapien symbol represents a rocky shore that resists the relentless pounding of the sea. Institutionalized inertia wants to halt progress despite the warning signs being presented. I'm not making this up. This is what I'm gathering. Now, those warning signs include a government that's no longer working for the American people, corruption that is out of control, a DOJ that is, other than the King of Swords, God bless the King of Swords, is run largely by bribery right now. And the fact that we need to develop territories so the two-party system ceases to tear our country asunder. Abuses of power and misogyny also need to be halted. Now, opposing all of this energy is the sun sitting in the 5th house of the nation's chart at 14 degrees of Taurus. Here, we witness children learning socio-cultural norms. Secrets regarding what is happening behind closed doors in reference to children may come to light. This includes in private homes and in some orphanages. There is a need to protect their privacy and yet bring to light how they were forced to participate in some of the unfolding events. In some cases, sociopathy lent itself to teaching children that committing murder for life insurance money is okay in our current American culture. Spiritual help is required for generational curses to be truly curbed and healed and broken. Idealistic ideas on how we can better our society may get squashed by authority figures, and yet the voice of Americans is going to get louder and louder as we come into that Pluto in Aquarius phase. Remember, the power of Pluto is relentless. The sun in Taurus is showing us that it is time to reevaluate our values, okay, because it's in Taurus, and Taurus is all about the 2nd house and the things that we love. And we need to make changes so that we can better our country. The moon is to help us understand the lessons of the square as extremely painful things get revealed with great intensity. I'm just providing this as a forewarning so you understand what's coming, right? Now, during this square, some people will compulsively express their emotions because it's a Scorpio moon. And this may include rage, hatred, betrayals, vindictiveness. Mother figures, because the moon represents mother, may lash out and do their best to manipulate others emotionally. And though I certainly hope this is not true, some who have fallen into the depths of despair due to their actions may contemplate unaliving themselves. Again, this is not the intention, and I hope you can hear this from my heart. For Pluto only wants to bring in towers to clean out the refuse and give space for something much better to be born. For some, this will become a battle for your own soul. It most certainly represents a struggle for the soul of our country. Now, for a few extreme power plays will occur, especially between couples, in regards to creative projects and the desire to be influential in society. And that's seen as the 11th house polarity point, which has everything to do with society. Mercury, the planet of communications, will be bringing forth all of this news, for it will be riding right near the North Node. Whatever comes to light at this time is meant to help us reorient ourselves as a nation so our morality compass shifts away from lies, corruption, and child abuse to a society that we can not only count on, but be proud of. The square between Mercury and Pluto is going to force information out into the open, just so you know. It is going to happen. We are being called to reinvent ourselves and the way we think, possibly by actually worshiping the divine rather than placing money on such a pedestal in our lives. We can also expect intellectual confrontations to emerge as a result of these conflicts. Now, sometimes we like to only see those things that bounce back a world view that reaffirms our belief system. So long as it's this, that, or the other thing, it's all good, right? Some news stations operate solely on this basis. Change is scary, and yet we are being asked to re-examine our most tightly held beliefs at this time. That's all of us, and to get to the bottom of things. Now, some people will resist what they learn because it will challenge their current mindset so fully. We are all being asked to be open-minded at this time if we can, to not obsess over our thoughts, a thing that many Buddhists call monkey mind. We're all being tasked to examine our thought processes and subconscious minds under this transit. What hidden or dark patterns of thinking block us from moving forward? Trust me, I'm working on this myself too. I know. And if we don't confront those issues now, the transit is going to usher in a powerful storm of very dark thinking. For some, this will emerge in taboos and obsessions coming to light, especially as they pertain to children or romantic encounters. Halting this process of confronting the darkest places of your mind stops the potential for healing, which means the painful lessons will be repeated in the next life. Remember, this tension is not meant to destroy, but to provide an opportunity to release and rebuild. Shakeups regarding the things we value is most certainly going to occur. On a lighter note, this square could also bring sudden revelations, as if our mind is on fire, right? Epiphanies, vast insights, and keen awareness is of what's going on all around us is going to occur, okay? At the same time that all of this news is exploding onto the scene, Pluto will be squaring Jupiter in Aries, which resides in the fourth house of the US's chart at 27 degrees. This represents not only our homeland, but our homes, families, and children. So Jupiter is asking us to find meaning in the events that are unfolding, to find a higher perspective, and yet our beliefs may be challenged at this time, especially as secrets rise to the surface in shocking fashion. Some of us will even question the existence of God because of the horrors that exist on our planet, most of them perpetuated, of course, by our own species. We will be forced to confront anomalies in our beliefs, and certain convictions may actually leave us feeling betrayed as secrets come to light. Saturn, the taskmaster, which is drifting through our third house in Pisces, will be trining the Scorpio moon. That indicates a very easy flow of information and energy. Now, much of this will be occurring with law enforcement because Saturn represents law enforcement along with other things, because people who want to have a better society are going to come forward. And that's the 11th house moon. Those who are not in alignment with slander and job blocking and trying to snuff the light out of a human being, or poisoning their own citizens, or hiring hitmen, or setting up attempted murder plots or sex trafficking are going to begin speaking out to expose what's going on. Why? Because if we are honest with ourselves, it's really hard to see God, that's that Pisces energy, in the actions that have occurred in our country as of late. Expect confrontational challenges between people, various hierophants, and those who legislate our lives to emerge. Leadership may try to block forward momentum. largely, I think, because of the suitcases of money and the old style way of doing business, which they profit from so grandly at everyone else's expense. Though mob-like energy seems more likely during the April 20th solar eclipse, it's still possible at this lunation, and the military or law enforcement may need to become involved. Let's truly hope not, for we have the chance and choice to embrace higher wisdom and peace at all times. Uranus, the maverick, and I mean really maverick, think outside of the box planet that brings in sudden events and epiphanies, will be exacerbating this North Node mercurial news-like energy. That which gets revealed is meant to be exposed, and the purpose of this is so we can make soul corrections individually and as a nation. As a result of this activity, new belief systems and patterns may emerge, for we are all on a long journey, right? An eternal search to the discoveries, the mysteries of heaven and earth in our own fashion, including my atheist friends, right? I have no problem with you. The urgency and meaning of our lives will confront us now, and we will begin to understand what we're being asked to do. Remember, after all, it is the very soul of our nation that is at stake. Fortunately, there is a saving grace to this energy. Chiron, the wounded healer, is also present in our fourth house at this time, and it is also riding near Jupiter. So hopefully, this healing energy will help us to bring peace to our country while we search for the answers we need to move forward in a decent fashion. The Sabian symbol for this healer reminds us that we have the ability to transform where we are and to gain the poise and serenity we need to enter the next Pluto cycle wisely and peacefully, and by working together. Despite the horrors of the past few years, we are being reminded that we have an indestructible spirit in this country. But right now, we are being asked to heal the wounds of our nation. So many of those current wounds revolve around how we treat women and children, along with our inability to see that we have to change the trajectory of our country so that it works for all people, not just the 1%. Incipient corruption must be dealt with, so major departments intended to deliver justice to victims can actually uphold their honor. Okay, let that sink in. We have whole departments that are failing miserably to hide the dirty deeds that have been done. Now, conversely, new belief patterns may also emerge, for we're all on an eternal search to discover all of the mysteries of heaven and earth, right? The urgency and meaning of our lives will confront us now, and we will begin to understand exactly what we are being asked to do. So new ways of looking at things could shock us into revelations and even alter formerly held beliefs. Now, this could happen if you find out that this report rings true. And so pay attention. You know, that's how I learned astrology, was by predicting things and then watching to see if I hit the mark. So just see if what I say holds water. Long journeys, possibly overseas, could alter not only our life path, but our connection to the divine. Uranus, riding close to Mercury, can also create a restless mind that can even develop into twitches, convulsions, or other erratic thinking behaviors. So I'm kind of laying out all the possibilities, right? Communications from siblings and cousins could be quite revealing, especially as people begin to expose the cloak and dagger information they know regarding secret societies in order to save themselves. Sadly, and I do mean sadly, jarring emotional states will rattle some families. And I have to tell you, this gives me no pleasure whatsoever. And in fact, I'm quite sorry and staggered spiritually by the turmoil brought on by the outbursts, the nervous breakdowns, and upsets over everything that's happening, including children. If I could undo all of this pain and suffering, I certainly would. It never should have happened to begin with. So truly, this is an American tragedy, but much of it was brought on by greed and other extremely dark forces, most especially witchcraft. Interpersonal relationships will be challenged within specific groups at this time as information comes to light. Healing our own lives now must become a priority. And I know I've been on that journey. I still have a long ways to go because of some of the horrors of the things that have happened to me. Likewise, we must also heal the soul of our nation. The bottom line message for this energy is to remember that Pluto not only destroys, but provides a pathway to salvation and rebirth. The question is, are we wise enough to embrace the lessons peacefully? All right, God bless. I believe I'll probably have at least one more report on the upcoming eclipse. And I just, encourage you to pay attention and see what unfolds because, again, it's just my personal belief, but I think the pathway of our nation is written in the stars. But God gives us that ability to have free will. So may we all choose wisely. All right. Take care. Have a blessed day. Peace to you.